Hello again and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And today, no fanfare, I'm going to talk about the Rolling Stones album called Undercover. Not Undercover of the Night, which is the title track, kind of. It's just Undercover, all right? Probably not too much to say about this album. This might be on the, this episode might be on the short side. You know, the Rolling Stones, they're pretty famous. I really know nothing about this album. I got it, I think it was about 2 months ago, in early February. There's a thing here where I live in Cuernavaca called El Chopito, and it's on the first Sunday of every month. I think I might go to it again this Sunday, which is April 6th. My friend Nash, I sent him a message a week or two ago asking him, he told me a couple of months ago he wanted to go, and I couldn't go then. That was towards the end of 2024. I couldn't go, and I went in early February. And then their social media page, El Chopito, has been advertising coming up on April 6th. So I asked my friend Nash if he wanted to go, and he said yes. So I expect to go to El Chopito on Sunday, April 6th. If I do, you can watch for the video a few days later. If I go, it's probably going to be the same stuff as I saw in February, which I did a video of. So anyway, that was a long way of saying that I got this record, Undercover, at El Chopito in Cuernavaca. It's like a little flea market, like a fake El Chopo, and I got it there, and it was very cheap. It was 150 pesos. I don't think you're gonna find too much stuff or too many records, especially for 150 pesos. So I did buy it, regardless of the fact that I really know nothing about it. Now, to talk about it a little bit, there is one song, exactly one song that I know from this album. I've mentioned already, it was the title track, Undercover of the Night. And that's all. Looking at the track listing, don't know this song, don't know this song, don't know this song, don't know anything. As far as I know, if they released another single or video from this album, Undercover, I don't know what it was. I just know Undercover of the Night, and I will talk about that shortly. A cool thing about this record is it is a Mexican version, which means it has some funny subtitled songs, including the album cover. You can't see it here, but it's called Bajo Cubierta, or Cubierto, I guess. Cubierta, Bajo Cubierta, Undercover. And so I'll read the song titles in Spanish first, just because I always get a little kick out of that. And this it's not in the best condition. For 150 pesos, it's fine. 200 maybe would have been acceptable. Anything more than that probably wouldn't have been worth it. Maybe some of you record snobs would not have paid 150 pesos for it. If there had been someone at El Chopo selling this, they would have wanted 400 pesos probably. So there's the record, and here's the inner sleeve. I'm not sure what the apples are supposed to represent. And there it is. It's a little dog ear there. It's shaped, is that like a home plate, a baseball plate? No, not quite. That's, no, it's not. All right, so looking at this and the record, it's in decent shape. I think the record is in better shape than the cover. So I will read, and they only have the song titles in Spanish on the actual record, not on the back cover. So I have to take the record out. It's kind of dusty. All right, so, and I did have to take notes for it. As I said, I'd never heard this album until I listened to it today twice, so I have to take notes. Had to take notes, so let me get this, to get the song title. So that the first song is, it's Undercover of the Night, which is Bajo la Noche. Next is, and this doesn't count as the track by track. Next is She Was Hot, which is Ella Era Ardiente. Ardiente, I think, is more like burning. 3 is Tie You Up, parenthetically titled The Pain of Love, which is this is a tough one for me. Reanimandote, and then parenthetically El Dolor del Amor. Next is Wanna Hold You, Quiero Abrazarte. Okay. Next is Feel On Baby, Siéntelo Nena. And then on side 2, the first track would be Too Much Blood. Yeah, Demasiada Sangre. Next is they have the first two tracks listed as track 2. This is classic Mexican pressing. Second song on the second side is Pretty Beat Up. Linda sorpresa? That's very strange. That would be like a cute surprise. That's a big mistake, I think. Next is Too Tough. Resistente. Now, I'm just noticing now the English titles are in here. All the Way Down is Hacia Abajo, and track 10 is It Must Be Hell, is Debe Ser El Infierno. All right, so I will put this record back in its rightful spot in the inner dust sleeve or dust jacket. I'm not sure what you call it. And I will try to get this, get these dog ears straightened out a little bit. That's from lack of care. By, when you're a kid, you put these records in, you don't really care about it. So there we go. So maybe I'll get those dog ears straightened out. All right, so getting to this now. Again, not too much to say about it. I've already said probably too much. The first song is Undercover of the Night. I love this song. This is, as I said, the only song I knew from this record. I did have the single in my Rolling Stones career, my Rolling Stones fan career. I've only ever bought, I did maybe about a year ago, I think I did Let It Bleed. I bought Let It Bleed. That was the first Rolling Stones album that I ever bought. I did buy 40 Licks on CD about whenever that came out, 2007, 2008, around there. And that's all I'd had. This is only, the only third Rolling Stones album I've ever bought. But I did have the single of Undercover the Night, and I had the single of Start Me Up, but I never had the Tattoo You album. And I had the single for Emotional Rescue. God, I love that song. Never had the record. All right. So Undercover the Night, man, I really like that song. And I remember the video for it was ubiquitous. That was on all the time on Toronto Rocks. If you're from Toronto, you know that. I don't think anybody from Toronto watches my videos. But Toronto Rocks used to always show the video for Undercover the Night, which was kind of, at the time anyway, now I was 13, it was kind of scary and it was always dark, and it was in El Salvador or somewhere in Central America, South America, Guatemala maybe. And there was people getting shot and kind of some shady characters. It kind of, in retrospect, it reminds me of Scarface. I haven't seen the video for Undercover the Night for decades. I have seen Scarface many, many times over those decades, and looking back on it now. So this album came out in '83. Scarface was also '83, so I don't think you can say that one stole from the other. But Undercover of the Night is, I think, a great, great song. And speaking of this album, I don't really know what the reputation of this album is, because I'm not a big Rolling Stones fan. I don't know what, in Rolling Stones fan circles, this was, I guess, kind of their, later mid-career. They'd been around, I guess, at this point for about 20 years. And I don't know, like, I know Some Girls is considered a great Stones album. Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street, Let It Bleed. Those are, I guess, the real classics. There were some, and I could be wrong, I don't know about Let It Bleed. I'm sorry about Some Girls. I don't know if that's a classic or not. I just know the title. Tattoo You, I think, is considered pretty good. I have no idea about Undercover. Please school me on the Rolling Stones if you're a big Rolling Stones fan. I don't care what you personally think. Well, you can tell me. But is this considered, I know it's not considered like Sticky Fingers, but is this more yay or more yay for yay or nay for Rolling Stones fans? So every song after this, Undercover of the Night, was completely unfamiliar to me until today. So I'll go to my poorly written and vague notes. The next song is She Was Hot. I don't know if this is, I do know there's a Rolling Stones song called She's So Cold. I don't know what album it's on, but it's I'm so hot for her, I'm so hot for her, I'm so hot for her, and she's so cold. I'm on fire for her, and she's so cold. That's a pretty good song. But when I first saw this, I thought, is this about the same woman? First she's so cold, and now she's hot. I don't know if it's the same woman or not. I like it. It's a pretty good kind of an up-tempo classic Stones rocker of that era. I guess it sounds like 70s, kind of early 80s Rolling Stones. She was hot. Next is Tie You Up, parenthetically titled The Pain of Love. Another one, it's pretty good. It's in that classic, for me, it has that classic Stones style. It's got in the middle of it's got a kind of a, not kind of, it is a percussion section, just percussion and mixed singing. Sounds like it would be very sing-along. I don't know if they ever played it live, but I feel like if they did, it would go over quite well live. The crowd would probably sing along with Tie You Up, parentheses, The Pain of Love. Next is Wanna Hold You. Not I Wanna Hold Your Hand, I Wanna Hold You. Again, this one sounds to me like, in my very minor Rolling Stones knowledge, it sounds like what I expect or like from the Rolling Stones. But the last minute or so got a little bit repetitive. They should have, I wouldn't say they should have, but I thought, okay, this maybe song would have been better if it had ended a minute earlier. Next is Feel On Baby. This one, it's also a little bit repetitive, maybe even more than Wanna Hold You. And I felt that this one has a little bit of a reggae feel to it. Next is Too Much Blood. Now this one, this is maybe, it's not, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it does kind of stand out because it lots of horns in the intro, and then throughout the song, it's kind of horns, not really driving it, but there are horns all throughout Too Much Blood. Weird song, kind of very, a lot of spoken word parts in it, very violent, and it's Mick just speaking. He says, something like, I cut off her head, put it in the refrigerator, and then later he says, and this is another spoken word part, did you ever see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Horrible, isn't it? Or terrible, isn't it? And this has got kind of a little bit of a funky riff to it. The horns and the funky riff going over it. Next is Pretty Beat Up. The very first thing I thought of when I saw that song title, not musically, but just from the song title, is Guns N' Roses has a song called Pretty Tied Up, which was on Use Your Illusion 2. I think it was on 2. I thought that song was pretty good, Guns N' Roses. I don't know if they stole the title or if that was inspiration for Guns N' Roses, Pretty Beat Up to Pretty Tied Up. Also lots of horns on this one, and also I would say for me the whole song is quite repetitive. There's not really any change in it. Song was so-so. Next is Too Tough. Now this is the one that kind of made me, I guess inspired me to talk about this record today after getting it a couple of months ago. What happened was a couple of days ago, I think I've talked about this before. I often listen to music when I'm in the shower. I'll play my phone through the stereo speakers so I can hear it when I'm in the shower. Sometimes also I have the stereo playing when I'm, the one time a year when I clean my house, I have music playing. But I do have music playing sometimes. And a couple of days ago I had music on, and I don't know if I was in the shower or what I was doing, but I heard this song, and I could identify pretty quickly that it was Rolling Stones. I thought, this is a great song. It really, really caught my attention, but I didn't recognize it, and I had kind of forgotten that I had bought this album, because what I do when I buy albums, I always, if I don't have it on my phone already, I never listen to Spotify. Never listen to YouTube Music, never listen to, I don't know, Deezer or Apple Music. This is not flexing. It's just a fact. I still, old school style, well, I guess old school is 8 tracks and 78 records, but let's say middle school, I still download music. And so what I do whenever I buy a record, if I don't have it on my phone already, I download it in MP3 format, put it on my phone, and that's mostly how I listen to my music. So I often have, I have like 11,000 songs on my phone in MP3 format, and they just play randomly on shuffle. So this song came on, I thought, this is a great song, I really like this. And I'd forgotten that it was on my phone. I checked what album it was on Undercover the Night. I thought, oh, all right, I like this song, so I will talk about the album soon. So that's what I'm doing now. This is my favorite. I would say Undercover the Night is my favorite, because I've been listening to that song for, 40 years? 42 years? But Too Tough, to me, it's kind of in the vein of, doesn't sound like, but it's got that vibe of like Start Me Up, or maybe Jumpin' Jack Flash or something. I would say more Start Me Up. Very riff driven. It's got Mick kind of singing in his a little bit of a tougher voice, which I like. Yeah, Too Tough is an excellent song. I like it a lot. Next is, it's called All the Way Down. Again, this is another classic Stones rocker. Nothing to say about, but it's a pretty good song. Next is It Must Be Hell. And I think what I imagine where they got the inspiration for this song or this title was, I think maybe, I imagine that Mick asked Keith Richards, if you prefer, hey Keith, have you ever listened to a Peter Criss solo album? And Keith said, no, but I can imagine it must be hell. And then Mick Jagger wrote a song called It Must Be Hell, inspired by Peter Criss. I'm pretty sure that's a true story. Maybe if you read a Rolling Stones biography, that story would be in there. This is more, I think it's also kind of a classic Rolling Stones, but not as much of a rocker as some of these other ones, but a little bit maybe more bluesy Stones than some of the other ones. But it's okay. And that's it. So that's all. 10 songs. Listening to it today, I thought I feel like this album is probably liked. I don't know if the Rolling Stones. What is their Saint Anger? What is the Rolling Stones Music from the Elder? The one that everybody just says no. This album sucks. I feel like it's probably not this one. Maybe a little bit later than Undercover the Night. I don't know. What else came after that? Voodoo Lounge. Hackney Diamonds, I think, was a few years ago. I don't know too many latter day Rolling Stones album titles. But anyway, I thought this album is pretty good. It's a couple of episodes I did Paul McCartney or Wings, Venus and Mars, and I said it was fine. I like listening to it, but I can't imagine getting into it. I think this is kind of in that same category. I didn't really have any problem with it. It was pretty good, but nothing really caught my attention. It's a fine album. Tell me, Rolling Stones fans, what do you think about this album? And that's all. No hike this week. I think this episode that you're watching now typically would be up Tuesday, but I think my hike is canceled for this week. And so I think I'll put this episode up on Wednesday in place of a hike. And then, I don't know, but watch for El Chopito coming up. And I think that's all. Anyway, I'm panicking. I don't know how to end this video. This is the Rolling Stones Undercover.